I'm going to be giving you a complete tutorial on how to edit within LumaFusion, as well as a special bonus at the end of this video for YouTubers looking to grow their channel. Now, I'm actually doing this tutorial from my iPad just so it's a bigger screen, plus I can have a mouse hooked up so you can see where I'm clicking, but it's the exact same experience if you're on iPhone or Android. So to start, we're just going to click this plus button down here and create a new project. And you can probably leave the frame rate, aspect ratio, and color space all the way it is. It's just going to set the settings as soon as you add your first video. So we can click create. And now we are here in the timeline. So to start, let's add some videos to our timeline. So on the left side here, I'm just going to click on videos. And then I want to add these three here. So I'm just going to use my finger and I'm going to hold my finger down and I can drag it right into the timeline and let go. And I can actually use my finger again to scroll through the timeline. I can also pinch to zoom out so I can make some more space there. And I'm going to grab the other two clips just by holding my finger down and dragging. There we go. And I've added them to the timeline. I can always add more by scrolling through here and dragging and dropping them in. And it's the same if I want to rearrange clips. I just use my finger and hold it down. And as I scroll over, you'll see the yellow surrounds the entire box. That means if I let go, it's going to replace the clip with this one. If I scroll over a little further, it switches to this line animation in between both clips. And that means it's going to drop it in between them. So if I let that go, now it's in the middle. And I've just rearranged my clips. Now for trimming your clips, there's two different ways you can do it. Looking at the timeline here, you can see right when I start talking by these audio jumps here. So what I can do is I can click on the video and I can use my finger and just drag over right to the spot where I'm about to start talking and let go. And now my video will start going right when I start talking. But there's actually an easier way to do it in my opinion. So I'm actually gonna click this back button here just to reverse it back, just to show you what I like to do, is I'll just scroll to the spot where I'm about to start talking and line it up with the blue line here. And then I'll just click the scissor icon on the bottom here, which will split the clip in half. And then I'll just click on this part here that I no longer need, and I'll click the delete button. And then I have it lined up perfectly right when I'm about to speak, so the video starts on time. And this scissor icon at the bottom here is also important if you want to cut something out in the middle. You can line up right where you want the middle to be cut. You can click the scissor icon. It cuts your video clip in half. And then you can technically trim either side if you want, just by clicking on them and then dragging with your finger. And you can kind of cut something out in the middle of your video using the scissor icon. All right, so now that we've learned how to trim our clips, let's get a little more complex. And stick with me here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on this video and we are either gonna click the pencil icon to edit it further. Otherwise, if you double click, it'll actually open up all the settings for this video. So let's start from the top and work our way down. This fit mode I've never used before, so you'll probably never need to use it. Cropping is more of not like zooming in cropping, but what I'll actually do is remove the edges. So if I scroll this over, you'll see how it's going to show whatever's underneath it, basically. So for actually the normal way for cropping, you'd be in size and position. And in here, you can use these knobs to increase the size, like so. And you can also use the X radius and the Y radius to line it up how you would like and crop it. I also use my fingers on the screen. So you can actually, right on the screen here, just pinch and move it anywhere you like. If I want to do more of a zoom in, I can line it up like that. So you'll have all your options on the side here in the screen to kind of show you. So if you scroll through, you know, there's size and position. There's also some blending options here. So if I wanted to make it more see-through, I could do that. So that's what this frame and fit is. And then as we go across the side here, we'll get into different options. So this next one here is the speed icon. So here we can control how fast or slow or cause something to be in reverse. You can also maintain the audio pitch, so that's there. There is a stabilizer. So in here you can actually, if your footage is a little bit shaky and you want the software to stabilize it for you, you can turn this on and it'll do a little bit of a crop in, but it'll make those adjustments to help smooth out your footage, which is nice. There is the sound options here, so you can control how loud or quiet it is. There's also some panning options if sound's coming more from a left side than the right side. There's even some options here to really make your audio sound better. I personally have never gotten really deep into this, but that is available. And then finally, this last little section on the bottom here is called Color and Effects. And in here, you can change the color of your video as well as some other effects like green screen and stuff. So if I was to click on Original, I can control my brightness levels, contrast. I can control the vibrance and saturation, colors and stuff. And if I go through some of these other effects, you know, they have some, you know, LUT presets that you can use, some vignettes, you know, different little things that you can add in, some green screen effects if you wanted to do something like that. And then once you do make an effect, you can actually, once you customize something, you could click this star icon here. And what that'll do is actually save a preset for you of your color corrected settings or filters. And that's what this star icon is at the end, is, you know, presets for all your color grading. And I know that was a lot we covered there. So just explore these, mess around with them when you're editing, just so that way you can see all these different effects and use them. But we'll be right back to kind of looking at these again, because what we're actually going to do is go back and we are going to add some text. So in order to do that, you're just going to click this plus icon on the bottom, and then you can click Overlay Title, and that'll put a layer above your video. So in LumaFusion, when you add different text effects and things or other videos, it gets stacked up on top of each other. So what we'll do is click on this text. We can either click the pencil to edit it, or we can just double click, and that'll get us back into those same settings. And you'll notice you have the frame and fit here too. So you can, you know, do all those same frame and fit settings to the text as you were able to do with the video. And then you have the text icon here. And what we can actually do is click on this, and we have all our settings on the right side. So changing our font, the size of a text. If we wanted to add shadow or line, like an edge color, we could do that and do all those kinds of settings. You can use your finger to drag around the screen. You can kind of pinch to zoom, but it won't move the text. You actually have to use this size knob on the side here to increase the text and lower it. That's okay. And in the same way, you can also save text presets. So I actually have up here this text preset. Why it says hate, don't ask. I don't know why. But I could type out here text, test, and it has my font saved that I like, has the right shading that I like, and then I can just resize it to how I want, line it up like that. And there, I didn't even have to go through all the settings again. I have that preset saved. So having a preset section is nice. There is also the color and effects options if you wanted to color grade your text, which you probably won't. And I'm just going to click this back button. And in the same way, I'm just going to pinch the zoom, and you can drag that text around on your layers there. So if I wanted the beginning, I could just drop it right there. And that's how you would add text. And in the same way, you can also grab videos and drop them in as layers. So now I have this layer here. And if I wanted to, let's say I wanted it here, I could click on the pencil icon or double click. I'm going to resize it. And now I have a video inside a video. And I can drag this anywhere I want. Let's just say I want to put it in the corner here. There we go. Back button. And now I've got two videos playing at once. So you can kind of drag things onto the timeline and be able to use them that way. But for now, I'm just going to click the delete button and just get rid of that. Now, another useful thing is transitions, and I use them all the time. So let's say we want to add a transition to this text effect. So I can click on this. I can click the plus button, make sure it's lined up right at the beginning or right at the end. Click plus, and I can click add transition. And when I click on the transition here, I can click on this preset button, and it'll actually allow me to change the transition here. So maybe I want this to slide up. There we go. So that way when I click play here, it'll slide up on screen. And I can also use my finger to control how long the transition is going to be. I can make it 2 seconds. I usually keep my transitions at like a 20-second interval or less. So it's a really quick slide up. There we go. And I could also do the same at the end. I can click on the video right at the end, make sure it's lined up, I can click the transition button again. Maybe I'll just let it do a fade off. So now when I click play, it's going to do a nice fade off there. So you can add transitions to text, to images, to your videos. You can add them in between clips if you want to, but that is how transitions would work. Now for adding music to LumaFusion, there's actually no built-in music inside of LumaFusion. I think LumaFusion is more catered towards professionals who are already going to be purchasing their music from elsewhere. I use Epidemic Sound. It's a website where you can download all types of music and be able to add them in, and it's copyright free when you have a subscription, so that way you can still be monetized and be able to use awesome music. If you're interested, I actually have a 30-day free trial where you can sign up and test it out and be able to use it. I recommend it. It's like the greatest music that you can get for your videos, in my opinion. So in order to add that to my timeline, once you download the music onto your device, what we can do is click over here, and we can click on Imported. Now, I've technically imported it already on iOS here, but if I needed to, I could click this Options, I could click Import Media, and I can open up Files app, Google Drive, anywhere that I download the music to, which for me, it would be in my Files app on my iPad. And then I'd be able to search up the song and import it in. Now, I've already done that here. So I've got some songs in here that I can use, as well as sound effects that I've downloaded from there. So I'm going to do this Open All Night one. I just drag it down, and there it is in my timeline. And then I can also double click or click that pencil icon, and I can also choose the volume here of that. So maybe I'll just drop down to 34 for now. So that way my volume's down, and now I've got music added. I can also do the same for effects. So maybe I want this whoosh effect for when the text scrolls up. I can actually drop this down here. I'm going to zoom in with my fingers, and I'm going to line it up right when it's coming up on screen there. I'm going to click the pencil icon, bring that whoosh volume down to something like, probably like 20. Back button here. And there we go. Now I have not only layers of audio going on, music and sound effects, but I have layers of video, of text, and potentially more videos later on if I'm going to be showing B-roll. Or maybe I want to show an image from online, like a sticker or something like that I can download from Google and add it to my video. You can have all these layers here, and it can all be very well organized. Now, one last thing that might be useful are these options on the side. You can actually click here and turn them off if you want to keep it simpler. But let's talk about them. These volume areas control the audio for each line of layer. So if I wanted all the tracks on this line to go down in volume, I could just turn it down here however many decibels I want. I can also click here to turn the audio off for a second if I want to just make sure my music sounds correctly, or if I wanted to listen to maybe this video without music, I could click here and now the music's not going to play. You can also click the eye icon, and that'll make a layer disappear for a second. Or for while I'm playing. I can also make it reappear like that. You can also lock your layers so they can't move around and can't have changes. So if you're doing edits and things are moving around where they're not supposed to, you can lock the layer, and then nothing can move on that layer. It's just frozen in place, and you can make whatever adjustments, and it's not going to move all around on you. You'll also notice on some of these, there's this little chain icon. What that means, if we zoom in here, you'll see like these white lines. I'll try and crop in there. You can see a white line in between the video and the audio. What it's saying there is they are linked together. So when I make splits and trims with the music lined up with the video, they're going to stay attached. If I wanted to, I could unlink them, and now they'll act independently of each other. So I like to keep things linked together. It makes it so much easier when I'm working with a bunch of different layers. And then this volume right here just controls the entire volume for the project. So every audio piece in here can turn up or turn down just with this knob. Now, if you're looking to learn things like keyframes and some more advanced stuff, I'll leave that for another tutorial. I just want to keep it basic here, but I have a whole playlist teaching LumaFusion stuff, so you can check that out if you're trying to get into keyframes and other advanced stuff. But for now, what we're going to do is click the export button, which is right here. I can actually export audio only, movie, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to click movie. I want to export it to photos, and here I can actually control the quality of my video. So you could leave it as is if you want. Usually I do 1080p, and the higher this number is, 70 Mbps, is the higher quality it's going to be. So I'm gonna leave it on ultra so I get the most quality when exporting my video. If I wanted to go quicker, I could change this down to like only good quality or standard or something like that. But I'm leaving it on 70, and audio can stay the same. The codec, unless you're really knowing what you're doing here, don't mess with this stuff. And then I can click this button here to export it, and it'll go through and save it to my photo gallery. Now, like I said at the beginning, if you are trying to learn video editing so you can make YouTube videos, I have a special bonus for you. I've actually created a free training on actionable strategies to get your first 1,000 subscribers. So if you are trying to get monetized on YouTube and that's why you're learning editing and this whole process, link down below, you can sign up for this free training to help you get started and on the right path to growing your channel. Otherwise, if you are wanting to learn more about LumaFusion, there is this playlist right here that you can check out, and I hope to see you guys in future videos.